Hey,
Hello.
it's in. We're in. Amazing.
Lovely.
Awesome. It's very quiet out there today. How you doing, love? You good?
I'm good. Are you?
I'm good, thank you. How was your weekend?
Busy. Busy always. Busy always. How was Poppy?
Poppy's amazing. We're
Have
fine.
you got her name already?
So, do you know what? I was going to put it to Instagram, but I kind of was settled on the drive back. So she just looks like a Beatrix to me.
Oh,
and I thought little B, and then, but I also thought about Phoebe as well. So, and also the breeders were thinking she looked like a Phoebe. They messaged me afterwards. So what fits perfectly is BB. So BIBI.
Oh yeah, I like that.
BB Valentine, because she was born on Valentine's Day. So
cute. How do you when you get her?
So she'll be coming home into our chaotic household on the first week of May. She's still very young, but we'll be visiting each week until then. So Arthur knows, and he's not happy. He's been an assault today. I'm telling you, I messaged my mum. I was like, he knows. Yeah. He's just not. He's not himself. He's sulking. So he's laid up on the couch now. He won't. I'm like, I'll go, and he's like turning his head away. I'm like, okay. He'll come around. Hi guys. Hi everybody. Lynn, hello. Hi. Anyway, enough puppy talk. Well, can you have enough puppy talk?
You can have enough puppy talk. Mine's down here. She might snore in case you hear it.
Yeah, mine's a snorer as well. Mind you, so am I. So.
How many wines?
Yeah. Let me just put the volume up. Okay, cool. So let's get crack-a-lacking. This is the last session of series 1. They're calling them sessions now. Last episode of Brunch Live, but we will be back. And Sam and I are going to have a discussion soon. I said this on the last one, but yeah, about how we're going to move forward and potentially live streaming through YouTube, potentially. But we'll update you on that. But we wanted to do something a little bit special, and also something I think that's needed and important right now with the easing of lockdown in the UK. So we've named this episode The Great Escape. And yeah, we just want to give you some prompts and some things to think about as we come out of lockdown, because a lot's going to change, and I think it's very easy to focus on like, yay, we're going to be out again and we can see friends and we can do this, but that will have a serious ripple effect into everything else going on. And as much as it's a good thing, we've obviously all quite settled in our routines that we've had to create, whether we like them or not is a different matter, and that's going to be disrupted again. So regardless of how it's disrupted, that can throw a spanner in the works, and just cause things to kind of fall apart, really. And you know what, maybe you haven't settled into a routine properly over the last few months, or there's some areas you want to improve. Like, now is the perfect time. It's a bit like, we shouldn't need it, but you know, New Year's resolutions, like whenever there's a big change, it's a perfect time. I always find September a great time as well. Not that I have kids or I go back to school, but there's just a general like, right, let's get a handle on things. So now is a great time to be redesigning your life, you know, and creating a lifestyle by your own design. And do you want to jump in, Sam, with anything, or do you want me to just kind of reel off on some points that I'm going to
start reeling off, and I'll just interject into something.
Erupt. Okay, cool. Yeah. So I think the main thing that I've been thinking about in terms of coming out of lockdown, because, you know, we were all speaking to friends, and we're speaking to, you know, even like I've been speaking with suppliers and clients and people that we, you know, work with, and it's like, yay, we can meet up, and the diary's going to fill up very, very quickly. And I'm in such a great place personally with my health at the moment and my fitness, and I'm really got into a groove, as much as my eating is like completely different, and you know, I'm on this, I hate saying on the diet because that means I've got to come off it, but you know, I've got my diet on track. I'm getting everything that I need, and it's not hard to do. But as soon as we start eating at restaurants or kind of going out, then I can't track, and I think tracking is really, really key. But I think the main thing is that I've got to be, I'm really thinking about what my non-negotiables are, and sort of laying down the law, because otherwise what's going to happen is I'm going to run by everybody else's schedule instead of my own. So I really want to create my own schedule, and it's been great. I can do my kettlebell workouts here, you know, even the gym as well. That's going to take extra time to drive to. I've got to factor that in and sort of work that out. So one thing I will say is really think about your environment, because your environment's going to change as well. You're not going to be at home all the time. You're going to be out in different places. There are going to be many distractions in the form of all kinds of things, including people that can veer us off track. So think about your routine. What your routine is now may not work when things kind of ease off. So they're going to have to be some changes there. And I've actually spent this morning booking in gym sessions, because I know now how important it is for my day to run properly. Like, it really sets me up for the day, even if it's just 15 minutes of kettlebells in there, and that's not much time at all. And you know, I have missed a few and not done it in the mornings, and I'm sort of reflecting back as well as thinking forward as to how I felt when I've missed workouts. And actually I haven't been as productive or fired up or motivated with my work, or you know, just with people for that day. So I know how important it is, regardless if it's an inconvenience. And of course sometimes I might have stuff on my plate that, you know, I'm not going to be able to fit it in, but really it's kind of a non-negotiable for me. And so I've set up my gym days to be Monday, Wednesday and Friday, and I've booked that in my calendar so it comes up. Because I can't assume, and I used to assume, like, I love the gym, I'll make it down there, but if it's not booked in, then it's the first thing to go. And things kind of get booked into my calendar. So I've put that in, and for instance I've got weddings booked in the diary as well, so I've had to change things around or move it to another day, and I've done that in advance. So I'm looking, you know, a couple of months ahead, and I'm only planning 3 months really in advance, but that's really helping me to work out how things are going to go and make sure that my non-negotiables are in there. And on that note, so I sat in bed on Saturday morning writing out literally routine, non-negotiables, rules, like whatever you want to call it, and I just dump those down. So for instance, sometimes it's nice to hear other people's. So no alcohol Monday to Thursday / Friday, because there potentially might be. But and also there's this no 2 days in a row rule that someone had on Instagram. It's probably a well-known thing. Yeah. So like you could do it with, you know, maybe having a bit of a blowout with food, or a drink with alcohol or something. I don't know. But the idea is, if you do it one day, like, you can't do it the next day. So you can do it the following day, but that stops you from falling into a bad pattern of habits, which is so easy to do.
Yeah, I like that.
And I feel like I've very much got into a group, and this is what this whole kind of little fitness project I've been on the last 3 months was for. It was not a hard diet for body transformation. I am doing a shoot on the 12th just to celebrate it, but I wanted to build sustainable change, and I figured that was the best use of my time in lockdown, while there was no distractions, while, you know, people weren't vying for my attention and time, you know, physically, and I didn't really have places to be to concentrate on myself. And that's really what I've spent the last few months doing, and it's really benefited everything, like my health, my mood, my energy levels, my productivity with work, even like the caliber of my ideas that I'm coming up with, you know, and just the whole security across my whole work and personal life. It's really benefited. So I want to make sure I keep all of that in as much as possible. And of course, there's going to have to be a bit of compromise. But I think a good question to ask yourself as well is, what are you willing to do for other people? What are you willing to compromise of yourself for other people? And think about that before people start asking you for your time, asking you to meet them, whether it's social, whether it's work thing. Just think about what you're willing to compromise on, because there will have to be a little bit of compromise, because we're moving again, unless you just want to stay indoors for the rest of the time, which I know there's a few people that wouldn't mind doing that. You know, so yeah, what are you willing to do for others? And yeah, just being aware of others' demands on your time. Sorry, I was finishing this, wasn't I? So yeah, no alcohol Monday to Thursday. I'm currently eating around 1,800 calories per day, and I'm very comfortable with that. And I'm losing weight, which is wonderful. But I'm totally sustained. I'm not hungry at all. So I'm going to stick with that because it's a really great, I can track it with a figure. Of course, I've had my drinking on the weekends. Mother's Day was I didn't even, God knows how much I ate and drunk that day, and the other weekend and stuff. So sure, there's going to be days like that. But it's like the 80-20 rule. If you're kind of on it 80% of the time, then, 20%, don't worry about it. Don't just whatever. But as long, or even 60 and 40, that still works. As long as there's a little bit more in favor of the good stuff. Then you're always going to make progress. Then you're going to make progress there. So that's a figure I've put down. I'm currently doing 12,000 steps per day, maybe a little excessive. To be honest, I'm struggling to fit that in. Around work, especially if I'm in front of the computer a lot. So 10,000 steps per day is another non-negotiable I put down. Gym 3 times a week, kettlebell workouts 3 times a week, even if it's 15 minutes. It means I'm doing some sort of training every day with 1 day off. And I've hit a maximum 2 days drinking per week, but I'm going to apply the no 2 days in a row rule to that.
Yeah.
So bed before 10 p.m. on weekdays, apparently on the weekends, who knows? And what's working really well for me is leaving Friday as kind of a free day. It's never a free day. I have tons of stuff to do, but to tie up loose ends. So I'm not trying to cram it in because, again, it's leaving that. I always suggest to people when they're planning goals or routines and things is to leave that, leave some room, because we get stressed and anxious when we don't leave enough room, when there's not enough space and we're trying to cram things in. So if you don't know what's coming up, there's always going to be things that come up that you don't expect or are going to take up your time. So if you just leave like a free day or free afternoon scattered in the week to deal with stuff like that, then you're making life much easier for yourself and be able to handle it a lot better. And then, so along with the non-negotiables that I've got, I've also written down some goals as well. So there's some weight goals here. There's some fitness goals as well, and some work goals as well. So just specific things that I'm aiming for, because I'm very aware that the fact that I've got the shoot on the 12th that I'm doing is what's been keeping me going. And if the shoot wasn't there, I'd be like, oh, well, it's not a time-bound thing. So I'd highly recommend that people put in some sort of physical, tangible goal in whatever it is, even just for your personal benefit. You don't have to tell anybody about it, but you need to always be aiming for something. Otherwise, that's when distractions come in and veer you off track, because you're not heading anywhere. You're just kind of here. Yeah. So unless you're fixated, and not in a crazy obsessive way, but unless you've got an end goal in mind, you're gonna, again, fall to distractions, fall, to people's times where you've got an end goal and someone says, oh, can I, meet you for lunch, or can I pick your brains about this? You're like, well, actually, no, because that's going to take up too much of my time, or it's going to veer me off track. So you're able to say, no, I can't do that, or yes, I can do that. Whereas if you don't, then you'll probably just say, it depends if you're a yes man or not, or a yes girl. Just say yes. So really get clear on that, and just plan for the next 3 months, relatively loosely, but certainly for the next month quite clearly. As I said, I've been really locking stuff in my diary. At the moment, it looks really blank, but stuff comes up every day. So I'm making sure that
like adding stuff in. It's like, oh, yes.
Yeah. It's like making a cake, like in ingredients. But get your non-negotiables booked in your diary. As I said, I've got my workouts there, and just be mindful that things are going to take probably a bit longer, maybe if you've got to go somewhere for them now, i.e. I'm talking about workouts specifically. If we're doing them at home, factor in the time, and maybe the time of day needs to change as well. There's lots of considerations. And accountability as well is another thing. This is potentially a great time to work with a coach, work with a personal trainer. You could come check in with me, check in with Sam, find a personal trainer, like physically at the gym or whatever, someone to hold you accountable, not necessarily forever, but just to ease you in, and to keep you, if you feel like you need that, just to keep you in check and keep you moving forward, and someone that's going to say, hang about, you're going off track here a bit, or, pull you up on stuff. or create some sort of support group within your friends, you know. It could just be one friend, you know, to have a check-in every Friday a week. We do this very much in business, a group of us, but also I have another person that I check in with once a week just for our stuff. And it's the accountability there that forces you to keep yourself in check during that time, but also to think about what you're going to say on that call, or what you're going to report back. So you can do that with a friend, you know, you can do it with a family member even, or, you know, alternatively, if you want to work with some sort of coach or trainer, then that's another way of doing it. And just on the note with having less time, have a think about what you can automate. Again, I get meal prepping every time. Meal prepping, you can automate that.
Yeah.
But just because we are going to lose time. We're going to lose time from traveling around and just doing other things that we haven't been able to do. So there's going to be a lot of stress coming up trying to fit stuff in. So think about the things that you can automate in your life, whether it's work or personal stuff. And as I said, meal prep is a prime example of that, of just preparing things in advance and just getting them ready to go so you don't have to worry about them.
Plus, there's plenty of food companies as well that are not actually that expensive anymore because it's so easily available. And even just down to things of, you know, if you are going to be out and about more now, is can you actually start to put in your shopping orders and get them into, you know, a good routine where you're getting like maybe a Sunday and a Thursday delivery each week, or one big delivery, so that because we're obviously out and about on the road more, that's one less thing to have to think about. So like for me, I use Amazon Fresh a lot now because I know that I can have it here within like the next 2 to 4 hours on a given day, or schedule it for a certain day, and I can get most things off there that I need. So having things like that as well to really make sure that your day does stay on track and you're not veered off. And, you know, if you have got health and fitness goals as well, that you're not just aimlessly walking around the supermarket and just thinking, oh, I'll just scoop that in, I'll just scoop that in. And if you're one of them people that are quite emotionally tied to that food when you get back, and then before you know it, you know, you've opened the Ben and Jerry's as soon as you get home and you've eaten half a tub and you're like, oh shit. So I think in terms of automations, definitely. I mean, I've had to do a lot of that through the last couple of months anyway to get me ready for April when I'm back, you know, into my job and gym shifts and running my clients and my business. Is I'm going to have to be absolutely bang on meticulous, and I'm very much the same. So I'll diarize everything, and I always have. Like I overstretch how much I think each thing will do as well. So I'll give myself like a 15-minute buffer time on each thing, because something's either going to run over, someone's going to be running late, you're going to have some kind of travel in there, or it just physically needs your time and attention just to wind down for that task to then refocus on whatever that next task is. You can't just jump from one thing to the next and expect it to be fluid, because you waste time by trying to figure that out. So I'm always a big believer in scheduling in like buffer time between actual tasks that you do need to do, and having 3 things that are priority that you need to get done every single day. Obviously that's excluding non-negotiables. You know, non-negotiables become the habit, so that's, you know, the building point. But think of the other tasks that you know that definitely need to get done that day. Is it like a work project? Is it, you know, something to do with, I don't know, my accountant springs to mind at the minute for me. Finding all the things, you know, getting those things done and getting them penciled in your diary on a specific day. So like tomorrow for me, I do have expenses blocked out from like 9 o'clock till about 11 o'clock to just get everything together and just chuck it in an envelope and throw it away practically. So I'm an avid believer in that. And I'm also, for me, is when it does come to social events and scheduling people in, we've obviously had a lot of time on our own, but if you've kind of enjoyed this kind of period of taking a little bit of a step back from certain people, do not let them people necessarily back into your life. If they are toxic, make sure you have a very definitive boundary of what that relationship is going to look like as we go back into the unleashed. Because you're going to get people pulling you pillar to post, come to this event, come to that event, come to this event. And you know, it might not necessarily always be people that you actually want to really be around. So be mindful as well of those people that add to your life and those that very much detract from your life, because now is the perfect time to not get back into the old habits that left you in a bit of a sticky point before all these lockdowns happened. So really be mindful about actually who do I actually really want to be spending more time with when we exit this, because as well that just helps you to prioritize your time better. If you're already going to be busy, putting your energy into the right time slots in your calendar, rather than giving it to people that are really mood hoovers or really just draining of your time and energy. Just don't do it. Now's the perfect time to get them boundaries in place.
I love that. Mood hoovers. That's brilliant.
I'm sat here on laptop today and I'm like, mood hoovers, work-wise, not obviously client-wise.
Yeah. Watch it.
Yeah.
Oh, amazing. You're totally welcome, Talia. Talia's just saying thank you for great advice. Sam is like 100%. That, and I think that was definitely around people, and that's what I mean about cultivating the environment. And you're right, we're at this is, as I said, like when it's a new year or like a September time or a new term or whatever, or new quarter even, which is kind of what we're at. It's the perfect time to go to lay you've got a clean slate to kind of lay the right foundation. And if you're not clear on what's good for you and what's not for you, and you're not tuned into yourself and your feelings around things, then you're not going to be able to lay the best foundations for yourself. So, we've got a couple of weeks. I saw people on the golf course, so I forgot that's open.
Oh yeah, they're back out there already, yeah.
But yeah, which is annoying because Arthur and I like trespassing on the golf course. That's one of the benefits. Never mind. So okay, fine. Some things are kind of easing. A few people can meet up, but it's a great time to sort of test as well. Particularly, I think 6 people can meet up in a garden or whatever. So just test how you're feeling and how stressed you're getting or not with meeting specific people at particular times in the day, with the amount of meets that you've got going on. And then you'll be able to create yourself like a plan. And that's, I don't think this is going to happen now. Like, people aren't going to return to sort of normal. I think after the first lockdown, people were like keen to just get back to how it was. But I think too much time has passed now, and we're not going to revert back to that. But you just have confidence in your decision to lead your life how you want to lead your life. You don't have to go back to the way things were before. You don't have to go back with, meeting up with people all the time, whether that's friends, if that doesn't fit in with you now. So really tune into what's been working the last 3 months, what you've enjoyed, what makes you feel good, even physical places as well. Maybe you've really got into walking. I know a lot of people have got I wasn't tracking my steps until this year, and it's just a great sort of tracking tool to keep me on track. And I hear people talking about their steps all the time as they're out walking. So if you enjoy hitting targets like that and getting your steps in, then continue on with that. And maybe the way you used to meet your friends, you can meet them in a different way. You can still go for walks. It's not just because everything's open that you then have to gather in restaurants or beer gardens. You can still carry on doing what you want to do. So just remember to design it the best way that supports you, and cultivate your environment, the physical places that you're in and the people that you're around, to suit you and to meet your needs.
Yeah, I think also on the social side of it as well is that food and drink is always going to be there. And we also need to make sure we don't fall into the trap of this, because yes, we've obviously coming out of a lockdown and we've missed certain things. It doesn't now mean you've got to go and eat like a dick and drink like a dick. It's a case of you can still have those things, but not have to completely go off the wall with everything. Like you said, Cam, earlier, it's like have that 80-20 rule in mind, and obviously, no consecutive days of whatever that is that you're going to be doing. And if you know that you're going to be out and about and going for evening meals and drinks, is just then be more mindful of that and structure your day earlier on around that. Like, it doesn't mean you have to skip your meals earlier to do it. Just have better selection of choices earlier on in the day to make account for the fact that tonight I know that I'm going to want a dessert. So that's cool. Just like take out some carbs earlier on in the day, just to account for that if necessary. But every now and again, it's not going to be an issue to slightly go over or slightly be under. It's just making sure that you do stay on the whole consistent in terms of you do have that that body goal that you're looking to achieve, because there's got to become some level of compromise there. So yeah, don't be a dick basically with food and drink. Because obviously that's how we end up in another lockdown, isn't it? When people are drinking too much and socializing in small spaces. So think about it. Get outside.
Yeah.
But it's summer. It looks really nice here today as well. So
yeah, and that's the other thing. Yeah, we're going into springtime now. The weather's getting better. There's really no excuses not to be, outdoors, and that makes us all feel great. I mean, like, no matter what's going on, if the sun's out, I'm like, none of it matters. Like, life is just beautiful.
Yeah.
Because it does make things a hell of a lot easier, and the days are longer as well. We've got kind of got more sort of time there.
I don't know, I'm still catching up from like having an hour less sleep on the weekend. It totally threw me yesterday. I was like, why do I just feel like I'm really exhausted? And then someone reminded me on here that it was the clocks had gone forward. I was like, oh, damn it. Yeah, I should have gone to bed. Yeah. I'm
glad though, because I was just waking up at like 4:30.
Wow.
Yeah, just because the birds are singing. And I think that's the other thing with sort of not drinking as much alcohol, or nowhere near as much alcohol, and having my food on point. I've got so much energy. I'm just ready to go, like sort of first thing in the morning. So unfortunately, when I do wake up at 4:30 because the birds are singing, like that's it, I'm up. So I'm like, great, I can't get back to sleep again.
I could do with some of that. Send some my way. I could do with some of that.
Yeah. Well, I think also work's kind of calmed down. There's a bit of a sort of a stressful period, lots of new stuff going on from YouTube this week. Woohoo! Which is exciting. And yeah, I think because now things are a little bit calmer, it's a bit like, I've got the time and energy. Of course, when I can have a lie-in, I don't want one. When I've got stuff to do, then
And that's the thing as well, that with sleep, on that note, is that what people are doing now, I'd actually really implore that you do get into a really good sleep schedule, by getting up and out. So whatever time you generally wake in the morning or need to be up, is try and get outside in that 2 to 3 hours after waking, because it's really beneficial to set your circadian rhythm for the day, and get into a rhythm of that even on a weekend, because it needs to be something that stays consistent. Because if we then start sleeping in on a weekend, that just completely messes your weekly cycle then when you actually go back to work. So in these next 2 weeks, really be mindful of, right, I'm going to get some good bedtime rules and some evening boundaries, with making sure you're getting some adequate quality sleep in as well. Getting out to see the sunrise, getting out to see the sunset each day where you can, to really kind of set your body up in the best way possible as well, ready for going back.
Absolutely, I agree with that 100%. Amazing. So thanks, ladies. Got a meeting now. Defo taking the not 2 days in a row rule. Awesome takeaway. Yes. So I hope everybody's got some sort of takeaway, even just one thing, and that's it. It's just about building it kind of slowly. Don't try to do everything at once or change everything.
And don't feel like you've got to do everything that everyone wants you to do either. Like, don't feel you've got to be that yes person. If it doesn't align with you, don't do it. Yeah,
and I think we're all probably in a better position to do that, having been locked away for a while, and had time to kind of think and tune in with ourselves and be like, actually, like, I wasn't living my life. I was living the life that everybody else wanted me to live before. And I think that is the one sort of beauty that we have, that we can come back out of this and redesign how we want to do it, and have the confidence to redesign it ourselves.
And that's it. That's exactly how I have seen all these, this last 12 months full stop. For me, this has been time for me to completely redesign my life. It's career-wise, friends-wise, health-wise. It's for me just been like, right, I know more of what I do want, less of what I don't want, and now I'm going to go full steam ahead.
Beautiful thing. Yeah, same for me.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I think we'll leave it there.
Yes. We are on the dot on half an hour, so we're still keeping it within a half an hour slot.
Thank you so much for joining us today, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us every time you do join us. It's just amazing. Yeah, we really do. And we love doing this. So we will be back and we will sort out in what form we'll be back soon.
Oh, thank you, Ashley.
I think you two are awesome. Anyways, we're sending you lots of love. The sun is shining. Go and enjoy it. And we will see you very soon. But huge thanks again. And as I said, if you've got any questions ever, just reach out on DM either to Sam or to me. We are always here for you for a chat or just to help in any way that we can. All right. So don't be a stranger.
Yes.
All right. Cheers, guys. Bye.
Bye.